Hey everybody, this is Perch, and I did a full video, like a 16-minute long little thing, and I didn't like the way it turned out. I got all the way to the end of it. It's like, this is an important point, and I'm not getting my point across. And the topic was basically, why is it that people don't know more about their own business? And the reason I give, and kind of where I just went on and on about it, because I'm very stuck as a person. I don't quite understand this mentally, how this could be. But I've been doing these numbers videos, and I put these things out, and on Fridays I show, like, here are the comics coming out next week. And I get, I would say, a constant stream of mail and messages from people within the comics industry, i.e. creators, but more people who are full-time employees, people, not the creators, not the freelancers, not the independent contractors. I'm talking about editors. I'm talking about people in the marketing and the sales department, people who, the domain, the email they're coming from is like, dccomics.com or Disney or, WDW. I mean, just the actual, I mean, these are full-time employees. And they're like, thank you for this information. This is great. I had no idea. This completely is different from what I thought. And that bothers me. Every time I get one of those, it bothers me a little bit because I feel like everybody should have this data. I feel like I'm not the one to bring this data to the world. I'm happy to put it out there, but this kind of analysis, like, is something you hire some intern, some BA intern who's going to come in and do business analysis for you at $13 an hour or something. I mean, that's just what you do. That's how you do this job. But apparently that doesn't exist, and that always bothers me. It bothers me. For many, many years, and I think you'll hear this from another number of different comic shop retailers, I had this feeling, especially when I started going to Comics Pro or going to the little luncheons or breakfasts that they do at the cons for retailers, the summits. People would come up and talk, and I'd be like, I don't think this person knows what they're talking about. I don't think this data is right. They're telling me things that don't match with reality. And it wasn't until, start doing the work of, like, just pulling the numbers, putting it out, and then any 1 month, any single number can tell kind of any number of stories. But when you put a lot of the numbers together and you say, okay, we're not going to look at this in terms of 1 month or 3 months, we're going to look at it in terms of 3 years or 10 years or 20 years, then you start to get real data. You start to get real information. One of the big tricks, and not tricks, but flaws, I would say, that a lot of comic fans have, and this is probably the number one mistake I see from other YouTubers and things, is they'll go to Comic-Con and they'll look at the sales for 1 month, and then maybe they'll look at the sales for the 2 months that precede it, and then they'll do a video talking about how something is succeeding or failing, and they're looking at such a limited amount of data that they're getting tricked. They're tricking themselves, that they don't have the big picture. There's a lot of things that go on in any kind of retail business, in any comic business. You have events that tip over into other events. You have incentive programs. You have seasonal things where stores are tanking up for Christmas, or there's just a lot of different factors. So unless you pull back and get a bigger picture, you're probably giving yourself inaccurate data. And that's when I see other channels talk about data, that's almost 95% of the time. That's the flaw. When it's bad information, it's always because of that. It's like, I went into a store and they had 300 copies of Iceman in there, and that means that Marvel overships too much. It's like, okay, that's one comic, 1 point of time. There's you got to dig more. You got to get the full picture. But I want to make this more of a positive video, because I like the last one, the one I deleted. It just went on and on and on about me being puzzled about this whole problem. Like, why in the world is this happening? And just for the record, I'll say something I said there in the other video. It's not a surprise that a freelancer, an independent contractor, Kelly Sue DeConnick, does not know the numbers for her series. Tom King gave an interview where he talks about the sales of Civil War, and he's way off. He's like not even remotely close to accurate with the numbers he's given, but he's confidently saying them. And it's just a victim of somebody who doesn't have the data. That is wrong.
But I mean, I'm still Marvel has. I mean, look, Civil War came out at the same time as New Frontier, right? Civil War is. I mean, the art is brilliant. There's some very cool moments in that book. and it sold 400,000 per issue.
Exactly.
And New Frontier probably sold like 70 something in the beginning. It went up as it went.
Sure.
But it was considered to be sort of a mid-level hit at the time.
Yeah, you see right there. I mean, it's just he's saying something. It's not accurate. It's not close to accurate. And it's not one of those cases where, well, it's like within 10%. So maybe there's some hidden digital numbers or reprint numbers or some way he's kind of getting to that number. No, there's no way to get to that number. There's just no way. And the New Frontier comments are wrong too. You can put up the graphics. I have a full video on Civil War and some of these things. It's not. It is what it is. Numbers don't lie. But again, I don't think you could beat up on the contractors and on the the creators who are not staff jobs. I mean, they are hired to come in and do a job. Kelly Sue DeConnick's job is to come in and write Aquaman and in theory sell it, and that is her job. The broader picture of what's going on in the industry, it's not her job. Now here comes what I think is the positive piece. If you are hoping to get into comics, if you are doing things on your own, if you're an indie person, then this is my advice for you. This will make you more powerful. And I can't stress enough how powerful this will actually make you. And I'll explain why. Come to love the data. Obsess over the data. Obsess over what's happening with your comics. Who's buying it, where it's going, how it's being sold, where it's being shipped, how it's comparing against other things, what happens between November and December and January, what happens in January every single year, what does the yearly trend look like, how does it all come together. Become obsessed about that. Have that be just think about that, stress about that. And I'm saying this as a creator, as anybody, whether you're a creator, you're an editor, you're a writer, you're an artist, whoever it is, become obsessed about the data. Because one, it will tell you, it will give you the answer. A lot of times, rather than guess, your predictions are going to get so much better. Because if there's one thing that is clear to me about comics, it's how unsurprising the various trends and changes and things that impact it are. They're not surprising. You can almost predict to a T what's going to happen. It's why, and I know I got beat up by a ton of people over this and continue to, you can look at the numbers, you can look at the curves, you can look at what's being produced, you can look at the data, and you can say DC Comics is not going to stop publishing their comics in June or July of 2021. They're not going to stop printing them. That's not going to happen. I can say that with a ton of certainty. Now, can I be wrong? Yeah, who knows? Meteor could hit the planet and things could happen. But the odds are low. Again, think about it like Vegas odds, or like when you're getting ready for your some football game that you're about to watch. The data tells you what's likely to happen, and 99.9% of the time, it's gonna happen. It's gonna go exactly like history shows. If you have a really good grasp of what's happened in the past, you will be able to predict the future with almost absolute clarity in comics. It's one of the more, actually, the least shocking. It's one of the most conservative, I don't mean this politically, it's one of the most conservative businesses there is in terms of data. Nothing moves very fast. Everything moves slow. The writing is on the wall. Clearly, the writing is on the wall. Over and over. It's clear. So I just urge. So if you're in comics, make it your mission, make it your obsession to know these numbers. It won't take you that long. You'll become super powerful compared to others, and that's kind of the point. Take this, and this is the negative. I'm going to turn it to a positive. The negative is tons of people in comics who should know this information do not. They are not paying attention. If you want to break into comics, the easy way to do it, one easy way to do it, is get to be smarter at the data. Get to be smarter than anyone else about the data. Because here's the cool part. It won't take long. Most people are ignoring this completely. They're paying no attention to this. They can't be bothered. It's not whatever. It's just not their deal. If you just start to invest just a tiny bit of time in looking at things, asking questions, find some people you trust, not me, I mean, whoever, find whoever you want, who actually cares about data like you do, and bounce ideas off them. Say, hey, I couldn't help but notice that, Immortal Hulk was selling really well, and then it seemed to take a dive of 20%. What happened? Look for things that are abnormal. You know that story when you probably saw the video around Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, and it's like, hey, what happened? Why is it that the comic is dropping faster than ever? What happened here to Miss Marvel, where the comic was selling pretty steadily in the 30s to 40s, and then suddenly it dipped down to the low 20s? What happened? What happened during that moment? I don't know. I can see that happened in September. Let's go see what happened in September. What could have caused this to happen? Just asking the questions and looking at the data, you will become far more powerful than other people in comics. And that power will allow you to talk more intelligently to other people in the business. It will allow you to, negotiate your deals better. It will allow you to be smarter about what you pick as a project and maybe what you push forward or don't. It will make you smarter about, what's selling and what's not. It'll make you smarter about being able to get in front of a drop of a comic. There was this interesting kind of story going on, and I'll do the numbers video fully for it. But the Mary Jane comic that came out, Leah Williams did that comic. First issue sold huge, over 100,000 copies, sold great. And by issue 6, it was down under 20,000 and sinking fast, like ridiculously fast. None of that was a surprise. Maybe this is be a video series in the future. The comic publishers will announce something in the solicitations, and I will go and I will just mark down in Excel what I think is going to happen for the sales, and I'll put it up on the screen. And then 6 months later, we'll be able to go in there and say, how close was he? I'm willing to bet I'll be within 10% of everything, because there's very few surprises in comics. It's why a lot of the hot takes, both pro and con, the angry comic fans, or the smug comic pros, or the happy comic pros, and the lunatic comic fans, whoever it is, the hot takes are you can always pick out when they're going to be wrong, because the data tells you that. So this is a positive. It's not that hard. Go out, start looking at the data. Go to Comic-Con, become familiar with it. Ignore everything I put in this channel, except go to those sales numbers videos and pay attention to that playlist. Put a reminder on that playlist and just follow that one. I'll just funnel all the hard data stuff there, and you can ignore all the crazy rambling crap that I do. That would be fine. Just do that. Do this for yourself. I'm begging you. Do this for yourself, because you will become far stronger in this industry. You will set yourself apart from 90% of the people there. It's going to help you get work. It's going to help you make better decisions, and you'll be better. You'll be better off. And the other part of it is, it's very popular for a lot of comic pros to mock comic fans who don't know what they're talking about. It's I think that's something that Ron Mars does on a weekly basis. And I get it. There are some comic fans that come on there who say dumb things, absolutely dumb things. But if you're going to do that, make sure that you're educating yourself into the background. Don't become one of those people you're complaining about. If you have no idea what's going on with the sales and the overall trends of the industry, don't mock this fan over here for not understanding what an overship is. I mean, just it's it's for all of us. Don't look dumb. Let me help you. Help me help you not look dumb. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I don't know. If somebody has the answer, by the way, as to why this information isn't more widespread, I'd love to hear it. Throw it in the comments below. Educate me. I'd love to know. It baffles me. Otherwise, hey, like and subscribe. More information, more data coming out. We'll solve this mystery together. Thanks for listening.